Alrighty. Hello, everyone. Welcome to therapy. I'm one of your co-hosts, Neva, from the Neva J podcast. Unfortunately, Merrick is no longer with us. She's still alive, but she's just won't be joining us today. Her and I had gotten our second COVID vaccine shots. I had gotten mine on Thursday, and she got hers, I believe, Friday morning. And I'm just now feeling okay. I was out all Friday. I felt like I died, and I semi-resurrected yesterday, but still not great. And today I'm feeling A1. And then my period came. But hey, that's neither here or there. But and so she's still down and not feeling great. So she's not going to be with us today. So I'm just going to be rolling solo. We will miss her. Can we have a moment of silence and raise our social workers, our drinks to Merrick? To Merrick, doing what's best for society. Alrighty. But we do have some guests with us today. Go ahead and introduce yourself, ladies.
Well, my name is Lady.
I'm Lindsay.
I'm Jenny.
Yes, Jenny from the Block, aka Carol Baskin. So today, in honor of Social Work Month and Women's Month, let's not forget that, even though I kind of forgot. But we're going to have, like we said last week, we're going to have, each week we're going to have social workers guest star on therapy. And we also want our viewers to participate. So our challenge, like I mentioned last week, is that we would like the viewers to comment. So follow us and subscribe on YouTube at Neva J Podcast. And comment or share a video of your interaction that you had with a social worker. And we will enter you into a drawing to win a gift that we're still not sure what the gift will be, but it will be great. And so please do participate. And in honor of Social Work Month, I have all these people with me today, and we're gonna just talk about what it is to be a social worker, and we'll be sipping the special for the month, which is the social worker. And as we discussed last week, my social worker is made of pineapple juice and coconut rum. What is your guys' social worker made up of?
Jenny, go ahead.
So I took some mixed frozen berries and blended it up with some lemon juice, some vodka, and some lemonade mix.
Ooh,
Oh, you a
Made
fancy
like a frozen
social
lemonade.
worker.
that sounds delicious.
You're a social worker not working at a nonprofit.
You're a high-class social worker.
Right.
Clearly, I'm making the big bucks.
And what is yours made up of, Lindsay?
Seltzer and gin with a little bit of lime juice. That's what I had in my pantry.
Yes. And Lady, what is yours made up of?
It's the same one that you're making.
I made hers. Lady and I are the social workers working at a nonprofit, and Lindsay and Jenny are the ones working at like a hospital that get paid a little bit more because there are some fancy drinks. But as you know, like the social worker is the ingredients in that is whatever the hell you have at home and you can mix together, because like our field is a mixture of a bunch of stuff. We do it all. Whatever people need us to do is what we're doing. And we're like everything to everyone. And we do everything that nobody wants to do. So that's why our drinks are whatever it is. So like, why did you ladies get into social work? Like, what brought you into this field?
Oh, you guys want me to
Oh,
start?
don't all jump at once.
I mean, I know for me, I mean, it took me a while to get here. I always knew I wanted to help people, but I didn't know, okay, how do I help people exactly? And I love school. When I was doing my bachelor's, like, yeah, I liked school, but then I'm like, oh my God, school is like so hard. Like, I just want to be done with this and be done. So when I was done with my bachelor's, I'm like, I don't want to hear it. I don't want to do more schooling. I'm done. No, so, you know, you have to think about, I had to take loans. So it's like, that. So when I was done, I'm like, okay. So I started working in the field. And, you know, it took me a few jobs. Like I did child protective services for a bit, and that was one of the toughest jobs I ever had. I did care management, which I'm still actually doing now. Um, and one thing that I did, I think that was the moment that made me decide to go back to school and get my master's, because I'm currently a part-time MSW student. So the position that I think took me to where I am now, I decided to be a teacher's aide at BOCES. And that job,
Wow.
Bosie's
That's a hard job.
and
Bosie's
she was at the location.
I was I started at Shenango Forks.
Oh, okay.
And then I was moved
so
to Columbus, the Columbus School
Oh,
in
okay.
Holly Street.
Okay.
And I don't know if you guys have heard, but it's like, you know, they say like, oh, it's one of the toughest schools I've. And, you know, I went in there with that mentality, like, oh my God, I'm going to be working with kids that are really tough to work with and stuff. And oh my God, I loved it. I don't know what it was, but I love working there. Like, I really enjoy going into the classroom and working with the kids. I felt that I used to get upset because I felt like with these kids, the teachers have given up on them. Like, they were just there so that they couldn't be in the streets. So it was like a daycare in a way, a child care. And these kids, I was working with kids that were 14, 15, 16. And these kids didn't know how to do like basic math, basic writing. And I'm like, oh my God, I felt so bad for them. Like, and I'm like, you know what? I even thought I considered teaching. And I'm like, you know, I don't know if I want to do teaching. So I'm like, what else can I look into? And I have a friend that she's a social worker. She works at a hospital. And I spoke to her. I'm like, you know, what is this social work thing about? And she told me what it was to work at a hospital and stuff. I'm like, I don't know. I want to work with kids. I myself, I come from a background, like, there has been like trauma and stuff. And I don't know, like that, I wanted to work with kids that have experienced that. And I don't know.
Why are you laughing? This is good.
So I think that's why I connect more with kids that have had a tough upbringing and that have experienced abuse and stuff. And yeah, that's what prompted me to like, okay, I want to go back and get my master's. That's the only way that I could get to work with these kids in the form, in the way that I want to.
Right.
And that's my story.
Yeah, yeah, I remember when lady told me that she was thinking of going and applying to get her MSW. And I said, run fast and run far, girl.
No.
Said, don't do it to yourself. And yet she did it to herself. So here we are. But here we are, which goes to show you, that's why when I posted something that said social workers, the work of heart, right? Because it is that, like, even I'm telling her to run and I'm in the field and she doesn't run because it's like, this is her heart's calling, you know? So she crazy.
Well, join the crazy club.
Right.
Welcome.
So like Jenny, Lindsay, go ahead, share what brought you guys into this field.
You want to go first or me?
It doesn't matter. Go ahead.
So I actually had no intentions of ever going into social work. I went to undergrad with the intentions of being a child advocate attorney. So I was majoring in English just so I could get my 4 years under my belt so I can go on to law school. And I started to get more into psychology classes and sociology classes because I had to pick a minor. And I really liked them. And when it came time to applying for grad schools, I took a chance, and instead of applying for law school, I decided to apply for guidance counsel school and then the MSW program at Binghamton. And I got accepted into both, and I was like, oh, okay. So I knew I wanted to work with kids because I wanted to be there and be someone that they could count on and be someone that could like fight for them and give them a voice. But I knew if I followed that career in law that I wasn't going to be as hands-on with kids, and I wasn't going to be able to do as much as changing their lives as I would want to. So I ended up going to school for my MSW, and I ended up falling in love with like the LGBTQ side of things and like the advocacy for that. So my career was actually going to be based around trying to get into the identity through STIC, and it didn't end up working out because they weren't hiring and still aren't. I've been looking, but I ended up working at a nursing home for a little while, and I really loved working with the elderly and like getting to learn their stories, but I wanted to do more than just discharge planning and social security stuff. So I decided to apply, and I'm working at a school now, and I'm loving it. I work with a really, really difficult population. I have a class of 3rd graders and a class of 8th graders that I work with, and they are some of the toughest and hardest gentlemen I've ever had in my life to work with, and I wouldn't change it for anything. So I think I found my place, but still looking for identity to start hiring. So
Yeah,
just throwing that out
there. Except for $1 million, right? And if identity was hiring. Well, yes. Thanks for sharing that, Jenny. What about you?
Yeah, so when I was in high school, I really wanted to be a forensic psychologist. I really liked the behavioral analysis unit on Criminal Minds, and I was like, I want to get inside the mind of socio and psychopaths. And then I got a job.
Kind of doing that at your job.
I know. And then I got a job as a day hab worker at STIC, and I started working with that population. And then I ended up working at Catholic Charities with more of the high-risk youth population, their families. And I was there for 7 years. And in that time, I went back to school for my MSW. I had taken a break between my bachelor's and my MSW because I wasn't sure that that's what I wanted to do. I was kind of like, maybe not, like, is that really what I want to go and do for the rest of my life? And so, and then I finished school, and now I'm at West Learning Center, and I love it.
Yeah.
Working with high-risk youth and their families.
It's funny, because not that long ago, weren't we talking about this? Like, I think we got a new person on the team, and we ended up talking about how we came about to what we're doing. And so it was funny because we all like had like similar backgrounds, because I think about myself, and I was saying originally I was in school for pre-law. I had wanted to be a lawyer, and I wanted to work with children, like Jenny was saying. And I thought to myself, okay, being a child advocacy or like a family law lawyer doesn't make that much money. Like, if you think, people always think lawyers, you make so much money, but it depends on what kind of law you do. And the ones that make the most money is corporate law, like helping big businesses. And I'm like, do I want to help a big business? Like, not really, that like help them make more money and rip people off? Not really. And then I thought, like, the kind of law I want to do doesn't make that much money. So if I go to law school, I'm going to have so much debt to not make that much money. So I am like, I want to help people. I want to work with children. So let me become a social worker. I have debt, and I'm still not making that much money. but at least there's hope I will be able to pay off my loan at some point, So that's how, like, it's funny how we all have similar roots as to where we ended. So, stirring. But yeah, so what do you guys like, what did you be prior to becoming a social worker, what did you envision it would be like?
That's a good question. I don't know what I thought it was going to be like. I think that I thought, like, oh, I can fix everyone's problem with this magic wand that I'm going to get when I go to school, and I'm going to just like help people. And then you get into it and it's like, it's just paperwork. Like, that's what you do. And you can only help people who want to be helped. So that's what you kind of have to realize, is that you can just do the best that you can, and that's all you can do.
Yeah, I know
I
with
thought,
me. Sorry. Who's going? I know for me, like right now, I'm doing my field internship at Benjamin Franklin, and I honestly have no idea what I was getting into. I just went in like, okay, yeah, I'm gonna help kids. I'm gonna help their families, and it's gonna be great. Okay, but that's not how it works. And I mean, I see that my supervisor, I love her. Like, she's really dedicated to what she does. And I have asked her too. Like, I like that she really tells me the good and the bad and everything in between. And she says, this job is about making relationships. You have to be good with the parents. You have to make that connection with the parents, with the principal, with the administrators, with the other social workers, like with the teachers. Like, you really need that team. And also, like you said, you cannot help someone that doesn't want to be helped. And with children, we're kind of limited as to how much we can do.
Yep.
Especially in the schools. I know we just do like counseling based on their IEPs and stuff. So it's like, what about other things that are happening in the family? I know with her too, like that school, they are in a community that is poor. So that she was telling me, she started doing this program that is gonna try to help. Like, she did an assessment as to see
The needs
how much need there is, like food. And she found that there's so many families that don't have enough food. So now they in the school, like she started this food pantry and stuff. But COVID has kind of like messed that up. But now she wants to do like, okay, let's do a program that parents could come in and they could use computers to like apply for jobs. So I could have like maybe speakers that come in and teach them how to money manage and all of that. Because at the end of the day, we want to help the kids. We have to help the parents first. Mm-hmm. If we don't have that parent, then we cannot really do anything.
Right.
So it's a lot. I feel like it's a lot. Like working at a school, like it's a lot of work. I think it's the kind of the hardest kind of social work than working in any other type of field. So now I'm just like, oh my God, like how do I do this? Like, am I prepared for this? Like, right. That's where I'm at right now.
So it's not what you envisioned that it would be.
Well, I love it. Like I know her, like, I don't know if you guys do that, because it seems like every school has a different system. One thing that I really like is that we go in the classrooms and we teach kids social emotional skills, which I think is so important. Like, right. I love those lessons. And like every kid should be learning how to do this. I wish when I was growing up, somebody came in and taught me how to control my emotions, taught me about my feelings and stuff. Like, that's so important.
What? Well, knowing how your feelings are important.
So, I mean, I love it. I like the other day I had a day that I was like, oh my God, I really love just the environment of the school, like the kids, they're so cute. And I love like having summers off,
cute.
Having so many days off. Like, there's a lot of like positives to working in a school, but it's not as easy as I thought it would be.
Right.
Like, there's way more that's involved in working in a school than I thought.
Right. So it's not like what we envisioned, what you envisioned it would be is not the actuality of what it is. What were you saying, Jenny? Like, is it what you envisioned? Like, is your social work what you envisioned it would be?
I remember I used to have a saying, I'm not going to run for anything. Like, nothing is going to make me physically have to run. And I can say being a social worker I have jumped out windows. I have ran through the woods. I have ran through the snow. I have ran into the road. I have run more than I thought I ever would in my entire life. No, I never thought being a social worker would be such a physical act.
Would be such a triathlon.
I'm made to run, dude.
What about you, Lindsay?
Oh my goodness. Well, like I said, it's definitely not what I had imagined, but I feel like there was something that I was going to piggyback off of what Lady was saying. I don't remember. I don't remember what I was going to say. Are you currently doing your MSW program?
Yeah.
Yes, I'm a part-time student because I'm working full-time. So I have an internship, part-time student, and then work 2 full-time with.
Yeah.
So I
You-
have
you
That
can
is
do it.
amazing.
You can do it. You can get through this, and it's going to be challenging, and it's going to be awesome once you're
I feel
done.
like giving up like every single day.
And
Yeah.
every single
day.
and every
Yeah.
single day, I tell her give up.
I did the part-time program and worked full-time, and
Lindsay
it's hard, but you can do it.
Full-time and work full-time. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's so
It's a
funny
lot.
because you and Jenny are like, yes, you can do this, and motivating her. And every single day, I'm like, give up.
I need to start
Give it up.
texting other friends. I need supportive friends. Neva is not on your side. Like, if you need text and support you, you can text me. It's okay.
Oh gosh, because no, I just think like I remember when I was in grad school and I wasn't working at all because I was fortunate enough for my significant other to tell me like stop working and just focus on grad school. And it was hard and I wasn't even working. So I can't imagine someone working and doing it. Like there were days when I was just like, I'm done. Like I'm not doing this anymore. Like I refuse to write another fucking paper. I'm just done. It's not worth it. And so like to be doing that part-time and working full-time, I just can't fathom. Like
Yeah, I think the 12-hour day was like a short day for me when I was doing that. It was,
Yeah,
that was a good day.
I did the like full-time program and I worked full-time. So I was working nights and doing the program during the day.
you're
Yikes.
crazy.
I didn't have the money to space it out. I was like, okay, 2 years, I can do this.
Yeah. You're Carol Baskin crazy.
I have an energy drink addiction, but other than that, I think I turned out okay.
Oh gosh. But yeah, like I mean, like if you look at social media and like how social work is portrayed in movies and like the media and stuff, it's just like it's always somebody coming and taking somebody's freaking kids. You know? So that was like that was what I had at like what I thought that it would be as a social worker is like, would I be taking someone's kids? And so in my mind, I'm like, I am going to change that. Like, I'm going to become a social worker because I'm not going to go and snatch people's kids, you know? So like, that's what I thought when I thought about social work. But then when I got into the field, that was not the reality. It's very hard for you to get your kids taken away. Let's be honest.
Yes.
We've had like I mean in our past episodes we talked about CPS and how like we've had like it's hard. Like there are situations where like yeah, even the caseworker will be like, yeah, those kids probably shouldn't be living there, and yet they stay there. So that is not really what social workers do. And there is so many like such a spectrum of what we can do. It's so versatile, you know? Like I never thought that we could be doing like clinical counseling, like a psychologist. A lot of places are replacing psychologists with social workers. Well, first of all, because they can pay us less, which isn't right.
I know we're great advocates for everyone else, but when it comes to like our pay and everything, we like for some reason we just fall over and we're like, no, we're okay.
Right, which isn't right, but they can pay us less to do what they do.
Yeah.
And so who would have thought like we could do that, and knowing that we can work in so many settings is great, because like we talked about in our past episodes about burnout. Like if you feel like you're getting burned out in one setting, you could switch it up. It's time for a change. Go somewhere else, try something new, you know?
Yeah. Some end up in government. I was looking up for that bulletin board we talked about doing at work,
Right.
the social work month and women's history month. And there were some women in there that like got into pretty high forms of government after doing clinical one-on-one therapy, which I don't think that I could ever do that, but it's pretty cool what you can do with this degree.
Right. Yeah, if I'm in some high form of government, I'll need therapy.
I
The stress.
need therapy now, so
I know. Don't we all? And it's true. Like, every social worker needs a social worker. Like every therapist needs a therapist, okay? Because you can't be working in our field and taking on the stuff that you're taking on, hearing about all the trauma, taking on that vicarious trauma, and not need to see somebody to work that out. Like it's just, it's a necessity.
Yeah.
Yeah. Would you guys agree?
I agree.
Yeah.
10,000%.
So, any last dying words? No.
I mean, I myself, like, yeah, like, because that was one thing I was hearing too. Like, a lot of people, most of the people that I spoke to about wanting to go back to school for this type of work, and they're like, you're not gonna get to pay anything. Why are you going to that? Like, it's too much work and not enough pay. But I honestly, I can't see myself doing anything else. I can't, like, and also too, like, with this field, like, you could work in a lot of different settings. So it depends on what setting you work in, and that would, you know,
determine how much
you pay. So, yeah, I couldn't see myself anywhere else. Like, this is where I belong. Like,
you see,
like,
a work of art. You see what I mean?
It is.
That's how social workers. This is the suckers social workers bring in. No, I'm kidding. I'm not kidding. I'm kidding, but she's not a sucker. But this is it. Like, it's like their heart is so into the work that they're like, oh, I don't care that I'm not getting paid. I don't care that I'm eating cat food.
Or that you come home exhausted and you're just like in bed by like ridiculous hours, you know, like you just lay down when you get home because you're just so tired.
Yeah. And it's like, but this is what makes it special, because it's like the people who get into it, we're not getting into it for the money. You know, we're into it because we truly care and we want to make a difference, just based on what she said. And so that's how you know, like, you're getting a good one coming to work for you, you know?
We might complain and whine and stomp on our way through it, but we love it.
Every other day.
I know. Every day we wake up and we choose violence. No, I'm kidding, not violence. But we wake up and we choose stress. That's what we do. We choose stress and we choose to be depleted. So it's a choice. We're not being forced, you know? And like Lindsay said, we complain, but it's like we wake up and we keep it going. Like, I always wonder, I'm like, are we all sick in the mind? How are we showing up here every day? What's wrong with us?
The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results.
So we're insane.
I would say.
But yeah, so like, any last words for our future or social workers, or the ones who are already in the field? Keep them going. My last words is keep your drinks strong.
Yes, self-care.
Yeah.
Whatever that looks like for you, whether it's healthy or not healthy, it's okay.
Yes. What about? Well, you're still there. My last words is for those ones in the school right now, run fast and run far.
Find your people, the people you can ground yourself with, so you always have that person to complain to at the end of the day.
Yes, that does, like, I mean, like, there has to be a balance, you know? Not everything's gonna be 100% what you want. Like, you're not gonna find the job of your dreams with coworkers that you just love, with the best pay in the world. Like, something's gotta give, you know?
Yeah.
And so, like, and if you have that, like, so if you find a job that's okay, it's not the job of your dreams, but your coworkers are fantastic, that balances it out, you know? And I feel like right now, like, I'm at a place where I just love my coworkers.
Oh,
I know
You too.
it's rare that I say nice things about them, so they're very surprised now.
I'm like,
drunk. Did you get her drunk? Is that what's wrong?
They did go to brunch before this, so
I know. No, that's not. But I do love you, ladies, and I love my coworkers.
oh, I love you too. No, I froze.
No, we see you. We see you, Lindsay.
It's so good.
You're fine. But and that balances it out. Like, we do work in a chaotic environment. We do work with kids that are challenging and needy and needier than most, but it's like it balances out when you have your people, and you could go to your office and you could be like, fuck me, and they're like, and they get it, you know.
Have a floss break.
Yeah. And oh yeah, we do that in our office. We have floss breaks, like, where we'll just, like, if we're all, like, just really exhausted and we're just, like, really burnt out, and I'm like, okay, it's time for a floss break, and we all come in and we start flossing. Or I'll, like, blast Cher, do you believe in love after love, and we're all, like, dancing. Like, you just need that.
Find a way.
Right, and it's nice to have that, so I appreciate you, ladies. Yeah.
Appreciate you.
Thank you all for being on for our first episode of Social Work / Women's Month, and for joining me on therapy. Salud.
Salud. That's
Nice
my
to meet you guys. Bye.
Bye.
No, I'm just gonna.
I'm gonna stop.
Technical. Hold on. I'm trying to figure out how to pause this.
Isn't it only a button here, Neva?
I know.
What Thrive market are you